so weird. I don't like that. Okay, well, unfortunately, you guys can see into my trashy kitchen, which needs to be cleaned. But anyway, welcome back to another live stream. So, last week's was kind of rushed and choppy and all over the place. After I watched it, I was just not very pleased with how it went. So, I'm gonna kind of take a step back and we're gonna talk a little bit more in depth about basic fitness and nutrition. Hopefully I can explain it and talk about it a little bit better than what I did last week, because that was not very good. Probably should have just skipped the live stream. But anyway, so basically how I'm going to break it down is I have what I would consider the essentials for basic how various methods of how you can lose weight depending on your time or what you want to do. So I'll talk a little bit about nutrition, kind of if you only have time for items or for making stuff, prepping things, time in the kitchen, then what important items you need to have to be successful in losing weight. And guys and girls, it's not a lot. It really isn't. It's a few items. It'd probably cost you maybe $50 for all of it, and you could easily, I mean, not including the food, but $50 for all the essential kitchenware, and I think you could be well on your way to a successful start to your weight loss program. Because starting off with all the supplies is going to make it easier than not having it, and then, oh, I'll get it, and then you don't, and it just goes on, and stumbling blocks. So prepare in advance, and you can prevent those stumbling blocks. So I have kitchen supplies. I have, let's say, at-home fitness, which I have made the first at-home fitness video. I'm going to try and edit it a bit more. It was not very good. The fish room's kind of hard to work in. It's just hard to hear me while I'm working. It's also hard to see me well enough. So some lighting issues may need to be played around with, but we'll see if I can edit enough so that it's decent, even if I have to voice over something. So I haven't forgot about the at-home exercises. It's taking a little more time to throw it all together than what I had originally anticipated. So, but anyway, the essentials for an at-home kind of exercise, at-home gym. Of course, you can go way above this, but this would be like bare bones stuff. And that's really, some of these items you could probably even take out, but because you can do a lot of body weight exercises, calisthenics, Zumba, yoga, things like that. But this is what I would recommend because for me, as you can tell by the shirt, hashtag free plug, I like doing the whole bodybuilding, weightlifting thing. So the final category I have is basically if you are going to the gym or when you plan on going to the gym, what are a few items? And again, it's very few, like maybe 2 or 3 that you would need, or I believe you would need in the gym, at least mostly just to prevent from hurting yourself. So that's kind of going to be how we break it down. Of course, I'm going to talk a little more in depth about why you need them and kind of the whole plan that you will want to, or the approach you want to take to try and be successful if you were going this avenue. So let me get a drink of post-workout because I am just finishing my gym day. Got up early this morning to go to the gym because while some people may say, I can't believe you go to the gym, I go at like 4 and 5 o'clock in the morning because no one's there and I'm comfortable working out when no one else is around. So even with the COVID situation, and I keep my mask on the whole time, which sucks, but I still have to do my part. It's important to me. So that's why I go, and I make a concerted effort to go super early. And that's kind of what it takes, unfortunately, is just the effort becomes less and less as time goes on once you create a habit out of it. But the beginning is going to be tough, and you're going to have to dig a little bit deep to do these things that in your mind you're not going to want to do. And I'm going to talk in a second about some methods you can do to kind of make that easier. All right. So the first and most important thing, so we're going to do kitchen and then kind of scaling up in what I would consider difficulty. So working in the kitchen is basically the easiest thing because everyone has one. You need to do it regardless. So just making some small changes in your life can help with that. So I'll probably be doing the series in this fashion. So next week will be kind of healthy swaps. I plan on hopefully getting some supplies and things for healthy alternatives that you can use to reduce the calories, carb count, whatever it may be, or help beef up the amount of protein that you need so that you can be successful. So the first thing, measuring devices. If you think you have enough, multiply it by 3 because I guarantee you don't. You need tons of these things because you're constantly going to have to be measuring ingredients, measuring things out. It sucks. It really does. I'm not going to lie to you. Measuring out the ingredients can be a bit of a pain, but you need, at least in the beginning, to be very precise on how much you're intaking so you can figure out kind of where your maintenance level is or how much it takes for you to gain in calories or gain weight using calories. As I talked about kind of all over the place in my last live stream, you will definitely need to calculate your maintenance calories. From there, you can figure out how much it's going to take for you to increase weight and decrease weight. It's a lot of fine tweaking. It's a lot like balancing a fish tank. It just takes some work, but you want to figure out the calories because in some sense calories do count. And then from there, you're going to go and figure out, most importantly, your protein. Like I said, 0.7 to 1 grams of protein per body weight. And then from there, you want to get your carbs and your fats or a little more play room. And but make sure you hit your fiber goal so that you have nice, healthy bowel movements. Anyway, going back to this, so measuring devices are going to be really important in getting those precise numbers, especially as you're starting up. So, like I said, if you think you have enough, then you need to multiply it by like 3 because this is like a micro fraction of what I have. I probably have 4 or 5 different sets, and I still need more. So all kinds of measuring devices, the ones you can heat up in the microwave, like the Pyrex ones, or even bigger sized ones, they're going to be important. Another very important thing is this doodad. It's a scale, and it's the bane of my existence because, well, it's very easy to use and operate and user friendly. It's just a pain. I mean, you're going to have to weigh out almost everything unless it tells you like a quarter of a cup or an eighth a cup. Oftentimes, I just use either the ounces or the grams on this guy to figure out how much something weighs. This is really important if you're going to do things like fruit, which I recommend, and it has a pit like an apple. Unfortunately, you're going to hate this, but you're going to have to weigh it, the apple whole, and then when the core is just left, so, or however much you eat. So it kind of is a pain, but it is important when starting out. So the scale will be like your worst enemy and your best friend to kind of keep track of everything that's going in terms of calories, macros. It'll help a lot with meal prep. That's another big thing, a big topic we'll talk about in a second. So this is not, I use an app, but this is basically to symbolize that you're going to need a log book or somewhere to put your macro breakdown, whatever you've eaten. I use an app I like, the what is it, MyFitnessPal, I believe. Let me see here, MyFitnessPal. Yeah, you guys hear me? I hope everyone can hear me. So I like to use the MyFitnessPal app. That one's pretty easy because I can just scan the barcode, and it basically will put it in for me, and that keeps track of everything. I've almost always got my phone on me unless it's charging, and even then I'll probably go over to the charger. But that's my approach. This book could be another good one. Some people like to write down each individual thing, or just like basic macro breakdown on it, and then just add it all up at the end of the night. Some people use Excel spreadsheets. The key is to figure out what works best for you. For me, it's the app because I can scan things. It's nice and quick and easy. I have a friend who still likes the pen and paper method and goes that way, and he's extremely successful. Looks great and only goes to the gym 1 day a week, and it's all because he controls his macro breakdown, and he's figured out, fine-tuned everything to figure out how much if he wants to gain 2 pounds of body weight in 14 days, gaining a pound a week. He's got the macros like so fine-tuned that he can do that with precision, and he almost knows exactly everything that he's going to change up, what he's going to add, what he'll take away. So if you only have time for things in the kitchen, don't believe that you can't be in really great shape, because there's plenty of people who are in great shape and they just eat healthy, and figure out what works for them. And it's going to be a lot of that. But if you like that process, if you like seeing those results and changes, the kitchen is basically, the old saying is like, muscles are broke in the gym but made in the kitchen. It's true, because what you eat is going to be the biggest and most important part of gaining or losing weight or gaining muscle. So that's where it's going to all start. All right, so moving on. Tupperware. Big Tupperware is my recommendation, because I'm hoping you all will do meal prep. As I showed in my last week's video, meal prep is extremely important, I think, for keeping track. If 70% of your day is planned out with meal prep meals, whether it be breakfast, lunch, and dinner, or maybe just lunch and dinner, and you skip breakfast, or you're a weirdo like me and you skip breakfast and lunch and you just do dinner, then big containers of Tupperware can be great. I can throw 30 egg muffins in here, and I can just grab 2 out in the morning, pop them in the microwave, good to go, and I can head out the door if I was doing that. That's an option, but Tupperware containers, extremely useful in meal prep and planning everything out. And you can even get the smaller ones and separate it out meal by meal. So you literally just grab the container and go. Or you can do like I do, and I just put everything in a really big container. And then I'll just portion it out whenever I get there. So whatever is going to be most successful for you is the ultimate thing. But I find you can get these big Tupperware containers for pretty cheap, and 3 or 4 of these, and you've basically got all your meal prep stuff put away in 3 or 4 containers that are nice and stacked away in the fridge. Blender bottle. Do you need it? No. But let's all try and save the planet. So this is kind of an eco pitch, as well as a just useful tidbit. You can use whatever jug or bottle you want, but I suggest a reusable water bottle. 1, it helps save the planet from floating plastics in the ocean. And 2, you will always have it on hand. Like, I like these because they have the nice ring loop, so I can literally put it in my finger, and it's not cumbersome. It's not really in my way that much, and I can walk around and I always have water on hand, and it makes it super easy for me to drink like a gallon of water a day at least, which should be your goal no matter what size you are. A gallon a day. I'm usually going upwards of 2 gallons a day. Yes, you'll pee a lot, but that's a good thing. And water is extremely important for the body. It'll help keep you satiated so you're not eating as much. You know, I go through 17 to 20 hours a day of fasting with just water, coffee, and tea, and that's it. So, you know, drinking lots of fluids can really help you avoid snacking if that's your problem. So, Eco Pitch, help save the planet, blender bottles. Also, it'll help make sure that you're drinking lots and lots of water because it'll always be on hand. It'll be around you. You know, this is the third one I have near me. So I like to keep at least one on hand. Anyway, that's it. That's the kitchen essentials. So that's pretty much all I would say you really need, you know, cutting boards and knives and things. But if you're a basic human being, you already got those, I hope. So unless you're like eating out of pizza boxes every single night, which even then you got a pizza cutter and they're pretty freaking sharp. So you could even cut veggies with that. So don't give me that crap. All right, but that's really it for kitchen essentials. Okay, this might be a kitchen essential, but you know, this is going to be highly argued, and I might get people complaining or leaving comments down below like, oh no, you can't have creatine. Yes, you should. Even females, I don't care. Every human being should take some form of creatine for their body. There's this weird scare tactic that creatine's bad for you or can kill your kidneys or bloat you or is not safe for females. Okay, the one exception, if you're under 18, probably don't do it. I mean, 16 maybe, but anything under 16, don't take it. Like you're still developing as a human being, so you don't need to be taking creatine right now. When you get a bit older, yeah, go ahead and do it. But I'd say at least wait until you're 16. And doesn't really matter what kind of creatine. This is monohydrate, I think. Yeah, it says micronized. You know, they all try and change it up, but any creatine is good. I do like the creatine HCl hydrochlorine, I think it is. That's what I use in my pre and post workout. Does it make a difference? Maybe. I don't know. I take both of them. You know, if I'm not working out, I'm going to take this guy. If I am working out, it's going to be like in a pre and post workout. But male, female, doesn't matter. Take 5 grams a day. Yes, you can get it from natural sources like eggs and grass-fed beef and things like that, but you're going to have to pay a little bit more. You need those free-range eggs and that grass-fed beef. But if you're trying to go a holistic route, there are options to get creatine that matter. But I still don't. I stand by my statement. 5 grams of creatine for every human being over the age of 16. I just think it's important. It's helpful for you. These ridiculous scare tactics, in my opinion, are super dumb. And it will help you, I think, either help find the body you're looking for or going for, working towards. So consider it like a multivitamin. And speaking of a multivitamin, so these are very helpful. I mean, again, if you want to go the holistic route, you can get all of this through various food sources, but you're going to have to look up each food, the vitamin and mineral that it has. So you can get kind of your big picture or, you know, kind of everything in there, which in truth, that's the best approach, you know, because of what they call bioavailability. that, you know, the plant contains it inside of it. And so the nutrient uptake is going to be better through a natural means than through this pill, which can dump a bunch of nutrients in there, but there's no saying that they'll actually get absorbed. So, you know, bioavailability using holistic foods or like actual food sources is going to be your best approach, but it's definitely not the only approach. I take a multivitamin, you know, I usually have like a big salad, or my meal prep contains a lot of veggies in it. So I'm getting a lot of bioavailability, but to cover all my bases, I like to take this or, you know, any multivitamin with my meal generally. I personally believe that the meal will help because the kind of the vegetables that are getting broken down are going to help make the bioavailability or like the uptake of these other nutrients that you're also taking in the multivitamin, so that hopefully you will absorb as much as possible. You know, there might be some excess, but it's going to come out in your pee or something. It'll probably be pee, but, you know, some bowel movement. Anyway, moving on. So those two might be in the kitchen realm. You may want to consider investing in those. So it might be a little over $50, but again, you can also go the healthier option and just do holistic foods so that you don't even have to do a multivitamin and you can get your creatine through food sources. Okay, so next will be the at-home gym. The first thing, which is kind of optional, this is going to be a foam roller. I just find it extremely helpful for stretching. But that can be a great exercise, great way to kind of limber yourself up if you like yoga or if you're into meditation and things like that. This can be very helpful. Or if you just like to run or want to bike. Excuse me. Ooh, this tickle in the back of my throat. But if you like biking or running, it's a bajillion degrees here in Florida, so I don't like doing any of those things. But this might be helpful to stretch you out after you're done exercising. So there's lots of different kinds. I like the one with the hard plastic center, so it's very rigid. It kind of presses back into you instead of the foam ones that kind of squish with your body weight. But there are many different kinds. They're not very expensive. You can find them at TJ Maxx and Home Goods even. So, or Marshall's, Ross, any of those places, amongst many others. I think they might even sell foam rollers at like $5 and below. So you could easily pick one up. Just good for stretching yourself out, especially as you get older, you start to get more and more stiff. This is a good way to help try and limber yourself up, open some of those joints and everything. So along with that, maybe yoga. I am working very hard to set aside more time to do yoga, at least like half an hour every day. I do find that it helps make me more limber. It also helps a lot with like joint pain. I've got a lot of stiffness in my back and shoulders. So the yoga actually helps a lot with that. So I do believe that it can be very helpful. And it may not necessarily be a bad way of exercise. You know, they do have kind of workout programs with just yoga and hard poses like plank and Warrior 1, Warrior 2, things like that. So a yoga mat can be useful, even if it's just for stretching or like ab exercises or something. A yoga mat can help it make it so that if you have like hardwood floors, it's not as uncomfortable on your back or, you know, whatever joints you're using. So I think a yoga mat's helpful to have on hand, especially if you're starting to go more hardcore with like weights and things. So that brings us to weights and things. So these are actually ankle weights or wrist weights. You know, you could use these for walking or even use them as dumbbells if you wanted. But I didn't feel like bringing in my 25-pound dumbbells, and those are the only other dumbbells I have. But you can easily get very cheap dumbbells and kettlebells. It's like a bird fight going out in front of my front yard. Anyway, you can use some dumbbells or kettlebells that, again, Ross, Marshalls, Home Goods, TJ Maxx, Five and Below, they all sell various kinds for very cheap, and you can get, it's usually only up to like 10 pounds, but go on Facebook Marketplace, go on OfferUp, Let Go, one of those places, and you can find lots of dumbbells and plates and things for very cheap. So if you want to take the next step up, it can be a little bit of an investment, but if you have it, it's there forever, and you can slowly start building your at-home gym, which will someday be my goal, or a at-home workout room. Still got to figure it out, but I'll get there. Anyway, so like weights are a good way to just kind of slowly increase that weight, even, or increase that muscle mass. Even if you're getting like the 2 to 10 pound set, you can still get a very good workout using just those weights at home. So that's another good option if you're willing to spend a little bit more money. Again, you can always just use like a yoga mat for body weight exercises, push-ups and crunches and lunges and squats and things like that. That will be that's also a very good option if you really don't have the money right now. So there's plenty of at-home exercises with Billy Banks or P90X or Tony Horton, or I don't know. There's a bunch of them out there. You can find them on YouTube. You can find them probably on a smart TV if you got one. But there's plenty of exercise routines out there, especially with COVID going on, that you can get a great workout at home on very cheap to little, almost no money. So, no excuses is what I'm trying to say. All right. So then, next thing will be ropes or cables or bands, whatever you want to call them. This is a great exercise method that you can do lots of different, basically all your muscle groups. You can start building an actual routine, a program to hit kind of specific muscles with these. I think between dumbbells and these ropes, bands, cables, whatever you want to call them, you can get a very good at-home workout, and it won't cost you much money. So I think that's a great exercise. As you'll see in the hopefully soonish video about at-home exercises for your shoulders, I go through with a door, door cable pulley system. I don't know what you call it. I'll try and find a link for it online on Amazon or something, and then leave it in the description of this video. So, and if I don't, someone please remind me in the comments. Anyway, you can get that so that you can put it on a door, and you can kind of do almost like a cable machine like you would at the gym with these guys as well. And they come with like little handles and things so that you've got, a little knob thing for some hammer curls or something. And then you got everyone's favorite handle. So between all of that, I think you can get a very good at-home workout. And if you're afraid to go to the gym for months to come, and you're feeling like investing a little bit of money, basically the stuff I just talked about might run you $150. You could probably get it down under $100, depending on how much weight, dumbbells and plates and things you get. But I'd say $100 to $150, and you've got enough to make a really good at-home workout and be successful. So the last two items for the at-home exercise. One, it's another journal. Again, just like counting your macros and everything, you need a way to be successful tracking your progress when lifting weights. So again, I use an app on my phone because it's on me when I'm working out. Because we'll talk about the next item here in a second. But I always have it on me. And so I have an app that I use that I find very easy. It's called Strong, apparently, I think. But again, the point is, whatever works for you. If it's an app, if it's like literally a little journal, but something that you can keep track of. One, so you know where you last left off in weights, so you can track your progress. Two, so you can see what you did last week to see if there's some different exercises you want to change it up to if you're making your own programs. Three, you hopefully will push yourself. I find that logging and seeing what I did last week helps me push myself a bit more to maybe slightly increase in weight or rep range from the previous week. So knowing how much weight and how many reps I did last week pushes me personally a bit more, and it might help you as well. So keeping track of that can actually help you progress faster because you're logging it all. Now, on that note, if you're not at the step of making your own programs, because that takes a little bit of knowledge about each muscle group and different exercises and things like that, and possibly like just a little bit of creativity, there's plenty of programs out there for both males, females, gaining weight, losing weight, it doesn't matter. Plenty of free programs out there. This t-shirt, bodybuilding.com, has plenty of great ones, or at least it did. I think there's now a pro or premium mode, but I think you can still get some free ones there. If not, you can at least get plenty of exercise ideas that you can piece one together using bands, dumbbells, body weight, doesn't matter. They've got tons and tons. So that's a good option if you're not quite at the step. But I still, even if you like print out your own program, something I used to do when I was in college, because I didn't have time to make my own, so I just printed out the paper. But I always filled out how much weight I did and how many reps every single time on the papers themselves, because it is extremely important to track your progress if you are going to start lifting weights. So you may end up having to do double dip and do 2 apps or 2 journals or 2 spreadsheets, whatever works best for you. But I probably wouldn't do a spreadsheet because that would need a computer or something nearby. So may not be the best option. But anyway, you're going to have to be doing a lot of tracking is the point. And it's kind of a bummer and it's kind of a pain, but eventually if you keep doing it, it will become second nature. So let's talk about habit building for a very quick second. So there's a few techniques that you can kind of use to your advantage to make these daunting tasks easier. One, in a book that I read not too long ago, they try and explain it as creating a mini habit or a microcosm of a routine. So what that means is basically, if you want to work out, but you really don't, like you're lying on the couch and you're like, I need to work out. But that whole task sounds very hard. So maybe you need to go and change your clothes. And it's like, can I change my clothes? The idea in your head of changing your clothes seems very small and easy to do, whereas the whole idea of working out seems daunting and huge and mountainous. And so trying to break up that routine into tricking your brain basically into saying like, to go to the gym, like physically drive to the gym. Okay, can I go grab my keys? Grabbing your keys is very easy and common to do. So your brain thinks, no problem. Can I get in the car? Yes. Can I drive? And it's like, just telling yourself in tiny little steps instead of the whole process. And then you'll start, building that process together and stepping it up slowly, but the idea is basically building this habit by continuously doing the routine over and over, and then your brain basically gets tricked into thinking, or basically builds this habit into its hardwiring. A lot of fancy words that I could throw around about. Um, anyway, we're not going to talk about it. But the point is, it starts building a neural pathway, basically like a roadmap. And as that pathway gets bigger and bigger and bigger, it will become easier and easier to, go to the gym, lift the weights, or, pull out your yoga mat, or do the meal prep, or, weigh everything, track it all. That neural pathway will get larger and larger the more and more you do it. It may take you tricking yourself a little bit by breaking it down into tiny little increments. Can I pull the scale out? Can I turn the scale on? It may take a process, which is something that I enjoy doing. I'm a big fan of the process, and watching slowly building things along. That's why I have a lot of patience when it comes to an aquarium. I get to enjoy watching enjoy the process as well as the final result, if there even ever is one. So I'm a guy who really enjoys just the process, because there never really is an end. But building that pathway of pulling the scale out, logging it on my phone, all of that, it's going to take some time. And I've even been stumbling this past week with it, but I'm going to keep working at it, slowly building it, getting better and better, and pushing myself to log everything, because usually I'm good up until about dessert, and then it starts to get a little shaky. So I'm going to have to do some things that way I can make sure that I am sticking to my goals. So that basically is your kitchen at home. And now we'll finish off with the gym, which is one more at home gym item, which is extremely important. Music. Doesn't matter what kind of headphones, doesn't matter if it's a speaker, whatever you need, but I'm a firm believer that music will improve your workout. I can almost tell you with certainty that my workouts are significantly stronger and better when I have music. It's a bad day in the gym if I have to listen to their music, because I'm super picky. Now, I'm a guy who likes some very hard rock, and sometimes rap, depending on the situation. But I figured out, I pieced together a workout playlist that works best for me, that pushes me to my limit. And that's the key for you. My girlfriend, she listens to musicals and Elton John. Works for her. That's fine. It's whatever works for you. Whatever is going to get you pumped up, energized, ready for that gym workout. And that may be another trick you can do to kind of get yourself going, is even if you're laying on the couch, just start playing that playlist. It'll hopefully get you a bit more energized, build up some motivation and willpower, so that you can get that workout done. Or even if it's just meal prep, music is extremely helpful for me in the gym, and I think it's extremely helpful for a lot of people in the gym. And so that's why I would highly recommend playing some kind of music that's going to get you going and energized while you are working out, whatever that may be. And it may need to be switched up here and there, depending on what workout you're doing. If you're lifting weights, you might need some rock. If you want cardio, I know some people who like rap or EDM or house music with their cardio. I mean, I know some people who like EDM and house music to lift weights too. There's some people who like Ella Fitzgerald, C.T. Fletcher, famous bodybuilder. He listens to like Ella Fitzgerald and Aretha Franklin and a bunch of those, let's say, older generation. No offense to the man, but he's getting a little bit older, and so but he listens to that, and that gets him energized, And so it's really whatever is going to get you pumped up and excited to do your workout. So I think music is an extremely important one, and it's extremely easy to do. So that's a very good one to have in your arsenal. And then we're going to finish off with things that you probably should have, or I think you should have, or I use every single day in the gym. So, one, you'll need a gym membership. I don't, I mean, I could show you little fobs and things of various gyms, but you probably already know of several gyms just by the idea or the name gym. So, or title gym. So I don't really need to talk about all of that. Not next week. I think the week after we will kind of dive into each gym pros and cons because I've worked out at several, of the bigger chains. So I have my opinions, and then maybe we can get into a discussion about gyms you guys have used and if you liked them, didn't like them, things like that. So, but I will be talking about a couple of the bigger chains. If you are thinking of getting a membership, where you might want to go, what I think is worth spending your money on, all of that. But a membership at some gym somewhere is important if you plan on going to the gym. Past that, what I think is important is wrist wraps. Wrist wraps, not wrist straps. They're different things, but this is used for wrist support when you're doing exercises. I think it's very important in a lot of upper body exercises so that your wrists don't droop or you're angling them weird. I know it's kind of weird to see it, but like angled sideways down like this, you can hurt your wrist, or if you get a droopy wrist, or if you like try and twist it up at the end. Some of those motions can actually damage your wrist and create pain over time. So the wrist wraps can help keep that wrist nice and straight, so that you aren't hurting yourself. So I find these are extremely important just all around to general workout in the gym. So that would be probably number one. As you can see, these guys get a lot of wear and tear. Almost every exercise I'm using them. So they've seen a lot of abuse, but they'll last you a long time. Yes, the elastic will start to wear out, and yes, you should replace them. But even the idea of just that tension of just pulling it around your wrist will help a lot, even as the elastic does start to go. This guy I've probably had for 4 or 5 years. You can see the elastic on the end there starting to fall apart, but it still works very well for working out purposes. The last one is this. This is actually a hernia belt because I have a hernia. So I wear this, but basically a weightlifting belt if you're going to squat. A lot of exercises, especially the complex ones, squats, bent over rows, deadlifts, lunges, things like that, you should consider getting yourself a weight belt to kind of, you just need something to help keep that tension against your abdominal wall so that you don't end up like I do with a hernia. Yes, I am still weightlifting with it. With that said, I'm very careful. I do use this belt all the time when I'm lifting any heavy weights, whether it's for my job or in my free time. But as of right now, I've been told basically you could have surgery, but it's not necessarily essential unless it gets worse, and it hasn't really gotten much worse. And now I've come to find out that it's quite common in the weightlifting world. And the key is, wear this thing and be very careful with what you do. Be conscious of it is going to be the most important thing. I have bad shoulders, so I have to be very conscious of that. So I'm used to, paying very close attention to certain parts of my body. Yes, it means I have to pay attention to both my shoulders and my stomach, but this actually helps a lot. So a weight belt, especially with heavier exercises where you're straining a lot or you're pushing your abdominal wall out a lot, or bending over, those kinds of exercises, you would want a weight belt. If you're gonna bear down per se, then you will probably want a weight belt just to help make sure you don't bear down too much and something pops out that shouldn't be there. So weight belt, wrist wraps, and music. Definitely music. That's, if there's one item I have to say, get music, then this guy, and then your weight belt. But again, the weight belt's really if you're only starting to do heavier weights and the more complex exercises, which I do highly recommend, but that's another conversation for another day. Anyway, that's about all I have for, your kitchen necessities, let's call them, your at-home gym necessities, and then your going to the gym necessities. And next week we will be talking about your, let's say, some kitchen options that, food options that you can go and use to be successful, hit your macro numbers, and also keep your calorie count low. So you're hitting all your goals, and then we'll ramp up from there to start talking about at-home exercises, and we'll continue with that for a while. So again, I will be putting out hopefully soon a at-home shoulder exercise if I can get the sound and the lighting right with some editing, some video magic. Then hopefully I can put that out pretty soon. If not, I may have to refilm it, which could take another maybe even another week for me to get it all done. So, but that should be coming out in the near future. And once I figure out the right way of doing it, I should be able to put out more of those videos on a weekly basis. So I haven't forgotten it. I will be working on it. If you like this video and found it informative and helpful and, enjoyable, then a like is always appreciated. If you're excited for this stream and think that this could help you improve your lifestyle, get your weight goals or the body physique that you're looking for through these live streams and through these at-home exercises that I'll be putting out, then consider subscribing to the page so that you can get all of that information that you need to be very successful and start working out, even if you're worried about going to the gym with this whole COVID situation. So a subscription will help keep track of all of those videos as I put them out. A notification bell the little bell symbol will help alert you when a new video is out. So you can consider hitting the notifications when you want to know when that shoulder video is coming out, or, a live stream's coming up, which I will definitely be getting better about. Today, I was getting back from the gym, so I wasn't sure when I was going to get back, and I was still up in the air about how I wanted to do this video, or what video I wanted to do. So I do apologize for that, but hopefully this stream was a little bit better than last week's if you saw that, and hopefully this was a little more cohesive, shall we say. Anyway, comments down below if you have questions, advice, thoughts, anything like that, things that I can do to help improve the live stream, or, do I need to turn my mic up? Can you see me well enough? Or if you have any questions about topics I talked about here, nutrition, fitness, aquariums, any of that stuff, leave a comment down below. I'll be sure to get back to you and answer any questions to the best of my ability. And share it with your friends, your family, your neighbors, the stranger down the street, the ice cream truck man, all of those people, to get the word out. And hopefully we can enjoy fitness nutrition, maybe fitness nutrition and aquariums, maybe just aquariums, whatever is your fancy, and follow along so that we can have a good time together. And you can bring your friends in so we can all hopefully have a good time and learn a little bit as we move on through this, let's call it saga, segment, journey, whatever you want to call it. Anyway, I'm done rambling. I gotta go stretch and do some laundry and things. So I will see you all in the next video again next Sunday, 9 or 10 o'clock. I will let you know beforehand. We will be talking about this over that, so in terms of food, and the shoulder exercise should be coming out hopefully soon. So I will see you in one of those two videos. Not sure which will be out first, but until then, take care.